Ghislaine Maxwell pleads the Fifth during House Oversight Committee hearing on Epstein investigation. Former socialite Ghislaine Maxwell invoked her constitutional right to remain silent in a highly anticipated congressional hearing, declining to answer questions from the U.S. House Oversight and Accountability Committee about her role in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking network. Maxwell's decision to plead the Fifth, a reference to the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, came as lawmakers pressed her for answers about Epstein's activities, his extensive financial and social networks, and potential failures by authorities to prevent his decades-long abuse of underage girls. A tense congressional appearance. The House Oversight Committee convened the hearing as part of a broader effort to understand how Epstein, a wealthy financier, was able to evade accountability for so long before his eventual arrest and death in jail in 2019. The panel's inquiry also seeks to assess potential systemic failures in law enforcement, the justice system, and government oversight. When asked about specific meetings, associates, or decisions related to Epstein's alleged crimes, Maxwell repeatedly declined to answer. Each time a member of Congress asked a detailed question regarding her involvement or knowledge of the trafficking operations, she invoked her Fifth Amendment right, refusing to respond on legal advice. Committee members expressed frustration at the lack of testimony, noting that Maxwell's cooperation could shed light on unanswered questions about Epstein's vast network of connections spanning the U.S. and around the world. "I think the American people deserved answers today," one committee member said after the hearing. To invoke the Fifth repeatedly is legal, but it is disappointing. Context: Maxwell's criminal conviction. Maxwell's reluctance to speak to Congress comes against the backdrop of her own criminal history. In 2021, she was convicted in federal court for her role in helping Jeffrey Epstein recruit, groom, and abuse minor girls. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. At the time of her conviction, prosecutors described Maxwell as a key enabler of Epstein's sex trafficking operation, assisting him in identifying and manipulating victims. Her sentence reflected the severity of her actions, although critics argued earlier that the justice system had been too lenient with Epstein himself. Because Maxwell is currently incarcerated and facing civil litigation and other potential legal consequences, her attorney has advised her not to answer questions that could expose her to further criminal or civil liability. Invoking the Fifth Amendment is a standard legal tactic in such high-stakes settings. Committee aims and public reaction. The House Oversight Committee has framed its investigation as an effort to hold powerful networks and systems accountable, including examining possible government failures in supervising Epstein in the years before his death in federal custody. Lawmakers have reviewed previously sealed documents, questioned law enforcement officials, and subpoenaed testimony from figures connected to Epstein and Maxwell. Many on the committee have expressed a desire to better understand whether intelligence or law enforcement agencies missed opportunities to intervene earlier. Public reaction to Maxwell's refusal to testify has been mixed. Advocates for survivors of sexual abuse expressed frustration that key questions may go unanswered, while some legal experts reiterated that individuals have a constitutional right to remain silent under certain circumstances. What happens next? Despite Maxwell's refusal to testify directly, the committee may turn to alternative avenues, such as declassified documents, financial records, and witness testimony from others who were part of Epstein's social and professional circles. The hearing underscored the complexities of disentangling a web of powerful individuals and deep networks tied to Epstein's activities, and the legal limits of compelling testimony from a convicted defendant. As the Oversight Committee continues its inquiry, Americans following the case will likely watch closely to see what further revelations emerge from documents, expert witnesses, and public officials willing to speak about one of the most notorious criminal networks in recent history.